Muslims are coming after us. We have to come out and vote. Is it not so? I have seen one lady in videos that have been passed around. She wore black. The reason we must come out and vote and get our PVC is because the Muslims are outnumbering us. Can you imagine the reasons Christians are now getting interested in what their country looks like? Because the Muslims will be more than us. That's the reason. That's the reason. And yet, as people like Chidi will tell us, if you look at what is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a lot of it has aped debate forever. Why should Christendom as a whole be interested? That's the question. When we settle that question, in support of and say we Baptists are going to go out and make sure he wins, but before you do that, you must know why you are sending him there. Otherwise, he goes there and he's completely taken over by the system that he finds on the ground and becomes a function of the system, a product of the system, a very opportunistic interest. Now they have been hit by a different type of force. They are becoming very aggressive, a very aggressive interest. Here are the Muslims. Yesterday I was coming from Abuja, from the airport when my in-law came to pick me. My brother Vincent came, Barrister came to pick me. And we approached the Western Avenue, and he said, we're on the wrong route. And I'm like, why are we on the wrong route? He said, there are all these trailers. So we approached the trailers. I said, you people have herdsmen here too. These trailers are herdsmen. They've occupied Lagos. It's only that these herdsmen don't come out with guns to kill you. But actually what they are doing is exactly what the herdsmen are doing in Safara place. They come, they bring down a village, occupy it, and send everybody out and rack the place, and grab the land and grab everything and walk away. These ones have been here for 3 years. These are mechanical herdsmen walking on your streets in Lagos. But it also says something. Somebody is more powerful than the rest of us. For somebody to be able to put those vehicles on the roads of Lagos for 3 years now, from what he was telling me, means that there is something more powerful than the rest of us. So this is where the church has to start asking questions. The involvement of the church in politics is not about anything other than the interest of the church. In other climes, you have parties that the church itself comes up with its own party. The Christian Democratic Party, for example. What do the Germans call it? Christian Democratic CDU, Union. CDU. So some countries come out with a Christian party. I mean, we can go into the debate of do we really need a Christian party or don't we need? Because there's also the whole debate about wars between beliefs and the liberal values of democracy and all of that, and we can argue it. But let me also say something else. What I'm beginning to also see, sir, which is why I'm saying, what does the church want? There is a certain gentleman, Reverend Bakare, who has taken out a very public position. It used to be run for many years by a woman. And the woman made the place such a pleasure. You would think you are in a private establishment. When you assess it, it is well organized, neat, clean place. Very accessible. Women bring certain values to our leadership. In the same way they bring to our household. I have told a man told me the other day that if you want to know how valuable your wife is, let her go on a holiday for 2 days and leave you with your 4 children to take care of. Then you will know how valuable your wife is in your family. And it is the same argument that comes for the country. Women have a significant contribution to make. And I think the church has a responsibility to break us out of these cultural and religious and conservative definitions of the position and status of women in society. It has to start from the church. The church has to help us to re-understand how women can be part and parcel. But for women
bring to every space in which they are allowed to demonstrate their unique gifts of organizing the rest of us, their men and their children. So for that reason, I'd like to want to see whether there are any questions at this time, perhaps those who could not ask theirs earlier. Deaconess, it's appropriate that the first question comes from you. You can use this mic if you want.
Thank you very much. This question is not really about women in politics. Please bear with me. I didn't want to ask a question earlier or to make this contribution earlier. I felt being a member of Men of Issachar let other people talk, but it came up so burning, and I wrote it out actually. And I said, or what I'm saying, please, is that there's a lot of publicity and encouragement for all eligible Nigerians to get registered, to have their voter's card, and to go out to vote. And that's very good. But the question is, who are we going to vote for? Who are we going to vote for? Most of the people we see are the old politicians who have failed woefully. They are sort of still holding on to power tenaciously. Now, we know there's some new people coming in, some young people coming in, but it's quite clear that they're going to be overwhelmed by the funding and the power that the older politicians have. So I'm thinking that as we're encouraging people to get registered and to go out to vote, we should also be articulating a strong message as to the people we will vote for. I don't know what the parameter will be. What comes to my mind is people of integrity. So that as politicians go for their primaries and, bring out people who will stand and contest, it will be very clear to them that if you bring out people who have skeletons in their cupboards, who have records of poor performance or fraud, they are not going to be voted in. So I think there should be a very strong message, not necessarily from the church, but for every serious-minded Nigerian that, yes, get registered and be prepared to vote, be informed, know who the candidates are, know the parties, but we're not going to vote for people who would fail us all over again. I think we need to get that in addition to this message of get registered and vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Deaconess.